3-ingredient homemade applesauce coming right up. First ingredient, apples. I like to choose ones that actually are bruised because I don't really want to eat those ones, but I don't mind them in my applesauce. Second ingredient, honey. You need a cutting board, you need a knife, a tablespoon, a measuring cup, a pot, and I like to use my apple corer, peeler, and slicer. For this recipe, you only need 4 apples. I'm actually looking through mine to find the ugliest apples that I can find, the kind you don't really want to eat. They make perfect applesauce. My apple peeler corer slicer thing is supposed to suction to the countertop, but it doesn't work so well on the wood counter. So I switched over to the other countertop, which is a project for a later date, and went ahead and cored, sliced, peeled all these apples. After getting rid of all the food scraps which we compost, stay tuned for a little photo shoot with my composter, I went ahead and just roughly chopped the apples. You kind of want them to be a similar size, but it doesn't matter. I like to take off the pieces that have peel on them because those parts don't disintegrate into applesauce and you find them later, although it doesn't really matter if they're in there. Put your apples in your pot, pour in a ½ cup of water, and add 2 tablespoons of honey. I like to get all the honey out of there, so I use the apple slices to actually scrape out the tablespoon. Don't have to get 2 spoons dirty. Stir so that everything is a bit wet, and then go ahead and turn it on a simmer. You're just gonna bring this to a simmer, keep it at a simmer, and check every 15 minutes. The best part of making applesauce isn't actually making applesauce. Second best part is definitely eating it, but the best part is having a reason to go out and stare into the compost bin, which is probably my biggest passion as of late.
You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hope for.
15 minutes in, this is what our applesauce is looking like. I just give it a quick stir, make sure that everything's coated, everything's getting cooked evenly. Let it sit for another 15 minutes. Now it looks like this. Pretty similar, but you'll notice that when you start to stir, the bottom is starting to break apart and become more applesauce-like in its texture. I let it go for 15 more minutes, and it looks like this. So basically, you get to decide the texture of your applesauce. I mean, if you're gonna give this to a young kid, you probably wouldn't want to because you can see that there are some chunks in there, but I like some texture. You can keep this in a container in your fridge. I've done so for about a week, but I'm gonna guarantee that you wanna eat most of it right away. When you do so, I recommend adding a little bit of cinnamon and still eating it when it's warm. It's actually the best, in my opinion. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.